Good day, this is the Professor, CBMD PhD, and today's Friday, August 21st, 2026. It is 8:38 and 16 seconds, p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today I'm going to be talking about the facts, so let's hop to it here. Your body consists of chemical compounds obtained from food, sunlight, the air you breathe, and water you drink. There are millions of chemical reactions that are constantly occurring. Putting a foreign substance such as psychiatric drugs into your body disrupts the body's natural and normal biochemistry. Sometimes this disruption creates a false and temporary feeling of euphoria, being high short-lived bursts of increased energy or an abnormal sense of heightened alertness. However, it is not natural to feel like this. The feeling does not last, and addiction can result. Psychiatric drugs work by influencing the normal function of the body. They speed them up, slow them down, dam them up, or overwhelm them. This is why you get side effects with psychiatric drugs. But do not think that these drugs heal anything. They are intended to cover up or mask your problems. Meanwhile, they tend to wear out your body. Like a car run on rocket fuel, you may be able to get it to run 1,000 miles an hour to the end of the block, but the tires, the engine, and internal parts fly apart in doing so. Bizarre things may happen as psychiatric drugs can cause mania, psychotic episodes, depression, nausea, dry mouth, constipation, diarrhea, vomiting, decreased appetite, weight gain, weight loss, leading to anorexia, eating disorders, fatigue, dizziness, sleepiness, tremors, increased sweating, hot flashes, blurred vision, and sexual dysfunction. Mental effects include anxiety, agitation, panic attacks, insomnia, nightmares, trembling, exhaustion, irritability, hostility, impulsiveness, aggressiveness, and urges to move about restlessly associated with an inner mental agitation that can lead to violence and outright psychotic mania. We are quite familiar with the PET or MRI hoax that was predicted about 20 years ago by psychiatrists, quacks, who learned the diagnostic statistical manual. The biomarkers they use to diagnose people are completely false, and we can verify this with scientific papers that were published by real doctors, scientists, corporate lawyers, and fraud investigators. Psychiatrists claim that mental illness are brain diseases in modern claims, supposedly based on recent discoveries in neuroscience, made possible by brain imaging techniques for diagnosis and pharmaceutical agents for treatments. This is not true and is a hoax created by pharmaceutical companies who market their drugs. Psychiatric disorders are not medical diseases. There are no lab tests, no brain scans, no x-rays, or any type of chemical imbalance test to validate a real medical condition. So ask yourself this question: how can they treat a chemical imbalance with a chemical balancer that does not exist? The answer to that question is that they can't. That's simple. But psychiatry has repackaged these natural emotions and behavior as disease, which never have been proven to be gene-related, in order to market and sell their drugs. It is a brilliant marketing campaign, but not science. Here's a little self-quote: a con can't con a con. Furthermore, since there is no medical diagnosis to detect the presence or absence of mental illness, how can psychiatrists call them diseases? Here's a little self-quote that I made up myself: you can have your opinions, but you cannot have your facts. Psychiatry make unproven claims. That is why they are called quacks, because it is a pseudoscience. According to top experts, majority of people having mental problems are actually suffering from non-psychiatric disease, which is causing emotional stress. Yet psychiatrists do not conduct thorough medical examinations to rule out if untreated medical conditions may be causing psychosis, which can easily be resolved by a real physician. In order to market their drugs, psychiatrists had to convince the public and mainstream media that these conditions were the same as medical illnesses like polio or influenza, when in fact there is no blood work, no x-ray, or any kind of valid chemical imbalance test available today. Yet that does not stop these folks from calling themselves mental health experts. Psychiatrists railroaded me, slandered me, ostracized me, discredited me, forced me, abused me, harassed me, stressed me, marginalized me, discriminated me, put fear into me, provoked me into anger, destroyed my reputation, forced barbaric treatments, forcibly confined me, bullied me, and defamed my character, harassed me for decades, looted, pillaged, plundered, and raped my mind. The injustice and pain from being walked over by quacks, lunatics, and cowards that try to predict our destiny or expectations. Taking psychiatric medications proven to be more powerful than cocaine, LSD, or heroin, as they are in the same family as amphetamines, except more powerful because they are taken on a daily basis. Psychiatrists are killing men and women slowly, melting their brains with the DSM-5, replacing the Malleus Maleficarum, raping their minds unashamedly, treating their fellow brothers and sisters without dignity, compassion, or scientific evidence. Psychiatrists are psychopaths, with their medical association, the number one government lobbying agent, second only to the pharmaceuticals, outlaws using legislated statutes to rape man. Our veterinarians treat our dogs with more compassion and dignity than our fellow brothers and sisters. Psychiatrists and psychologists are circle-jerking quacks. Psychiatry is not a medical science, and psychiatry is a quackery pseudoscience with no credible preliminary biological tests to medically prove any sort of mental illness. Psychiatrists cannot accurately or reliably predict dangerousness, violence, or any type of human behavior, yet make such claims as expert witness, and with media promote the dangerous mental patient myth stereotype. It is classed as pseudo-math. Psychiatrists are stereotypes, forceful, barbaric, coercive, and controlling, dominate fixed and rigid beliefs, and force their twisted, fraudulent, and criminal beliefs onto everyone for filthy, lucrative profits. And this video was written and created for educational purposes only. My code name is Will. I'm Professor Christopher Brunet, leader of research scientist, ufologist, psychic computer programmer, computer technician, philanthropist, writer, mathematician, artist, photographer, film producer, chef, animal, and nature lover. My passion is world peace. Have a great day.